afternoon, everybody. Shall we start today's distinguished professor seminars? Today we have the very prestigious guest for the invited speaker. And as you may, all of you may know, Professor AIZAWA is quite famous professor in the field of the biochemistry. And I would like to introduce his career as a before his presentation. And Professor Masuo AIZAWA was born in 1942 and received his Doctor of Engineering from Tokyo Institute of Technology in 1971. He was Associate Professor in Tsukuba University in 1980 to 1985, and Professor in Tokyo Institute of Technology in 1986 to 2002. And he became Vice President in 2000 and the President of Tokyo Institute of Technology in 2001. After finishing his presidency, he was appointed to the Executive Member and Council for Science and Technology Policy Cabinet Office, Government of Japan in 2007. He was President of the Japan Association of National Universities in 2005 to 2007, and his main interests are in the bioelectrochemistry, bioelectronics, and biosensors. And I met him when I was a student days, and he's very gentle professor, and at that time I'm very young researcher, but he always encouraged me. So today I'm very, very glad to accept his visit to this Kyushu University. So, Professor, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for a kind introduction, and it's my great pleasure to talk to you here at the Ito campus. It's my second visit to this campus. The last time I joined the ceremony to open this campus, and I gave a talk for celebrating this campus opening. Because at that time I was the president of the Japan Association of National Universities. And then, anyway, this is the second time, and Professor Murakami kindly took me a tour around the Hydrogen Research Center. And I just reminding what was happening after the opening of this new campus. And I was surprised that just finishing all the buildings and new students coming to this campus, and it's very cheerful. Today, I want to talk on the green innovation, but I just put the subtitle. This is not the science and technology story. It's a policy in science and technology and innovation. So I'll start on what happened with the Great East Japan earthquake. You live here, and I live it far from that location. So I want to describe what really happened. Massive earthquake hit in the magnitude of 9.0 on March 11. The huge areas of northern eastern Japan, and that triggered merciless giant tsunami along the Pacific coast. It's duplicated in disasters. The massive earthquake and a tsunami crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station that is run by Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO. And Japan confronted the nation's crisis with multiple challenges of nature and nuclear power. That would have never been experienced. So I want to express my deep sorrow. I just mentioned that data with the victims. More than 15,000 are confirmed dead. But the death toll is still soaring. This is the data as of yesterday. And nearly 9,000 missing, and 110,000 under evacuation. Two reasons for this evacuation. The first one is the loss of their houses. The other one is a radioactive hazard. And nuclear power plant remains in the emergency response phase. That means it's not stabilized. And we expect to move to the second phase, the plan and the stabilizing phase. The government has been constantly monitoring air, water, and food. Devastated were the social infrastructures, production bases, agriculture and the fishery. But you just remind, they've got another disaster that is a negative reputation. They have to suffer from that negative reputation. So what's really happening in restoration? The social infrastructure and the production bases have been amazingly progressed in restoration. For instance, Shinkansen was completely, connected in total, line. And this is very powerful of the small businesses and big scale of industrial sectors. Our supply chain completely disrupted at this time. Now, getting better. But most of the science and technology facilities in universities and research institutions remain seriously damaged. One of the biggest example is the Tohoku University. They have the 2 or 3 campuses, but at the top of the hill, that is called the Aobayama. That is the main campus. With so many buildings that are completely destroyed, and some part of the big buildings of equipment completely destroyed. And it's no image how to repair it. And even in the Tsukuba area, we found so many damages. And now we have to hurry to recover the situation of the research. And it's a good point. Their collaboration in the huge areas, including the international scale, they started making a tight connection through the network. Recently, British government offered the share time of the supercomputer to Japanese scientists, and they started to share the supercomputer. And the United States research institute also offered to such type of the collaboration in sharing a time of supercomputing. And Hokkaido University provides the researchers with the research laboratories to work at the site of Hokkaido University. So many collaborations just started. Just think of this type of collaboration between this campus and some other sectors. And because of nuclear power breakdown, all sectors of industries, businesses, offices, and houses have to suffer from the shortage of electricity supply. And where we have to suffer from the 15% of savings in summer. Of course, this area also asked to save the energy. And I myself learned many things from this great earthquake. Executive members of CSTP reflect seriously on what science and technology policy concerns in the massive earthquake, tsunami, and a nuclear power plant accident. Based on this reflection, we have to investigate thoroughly what occurred in the earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear accident. That is for learning the lessons. We're obliged to recognize that the challenge of nature is ferocious enough to enforce us to change not only the social and economic system, but also the individual sense of value and way of living or thinking. I don't know, how did you get this type of recognition from the earthquake? But I think this is the general phenomena, the whole Japan. Now is a time to shift to resurrection towards New Japan. The government tend to lay out their grand plan for resurrection towards even more splendid country, New Japan. Whether reflecting the nuclear power plant, the government will revise the energy basic plan through comprehensive reviewing. The point of comprehensive review is very important. Without this type of review, we don't get good lesson, and we have to be, breakthrough. When we found the big barriers according to this accident. And the CSTP is formulating the fourth science and technology basic plan. And that will finish until August. And I'll try to describe what the main frame of this fundamental plan for the fourth basic plan. So I hope you understand what happened in the great earthquake. Now, how to address these grand challenges. Europe and the United States, it's claiming 21st century should be the age of Asia. When you look around the history, in 19th century, the center of science and technology and growth was in Europe. And then shifting to the United States, and then come to Asia. It's a round trip of the world. In the 2030, more than half of population live in Asia. More than half of global GDP should be shared by Asia. So it's a big change. It's a turning point of world history. And now, emerging many countries made a very rapid growth. Of course, China and India works a main role. And this growth is based on science and technology. You must recognize how much powerfully, developing in science and technology in China. I think in any fields of science and technology, you can find the competitive researchers in China. It's a big change. If you take a look at 20 years ago, it's a big change and more aggressive. At this time, we've gotten a big crisis. That is a great earthquake. But I have to say, the world cannot stop moving or changing. They don't want to wait for Japan. So we have to think of how to build up the future. The science and technology and innovation should be key to drive this power. Now, we face so many grand challenges. Climate change and natural disasters, energy security, food security, demographic change, health security. This is a global challenges. All human beings face these grand challenges. In addition, Japan faces the great earthquake challenge and aging and demographic decline. Aging and the demographic decline is the most, I should say, advanced in the world in Japan. To make a sustained growth, we have to address these grand challenges. We don't escape from these grand challenges. Without addressing these grand challenges, we cannot get growth and sustainability. If we have to address these grand challenges, I should say science and technology policy should be shifted. Which direction? Despite the multiple challenges we face, science and technology innovation must be key driver for growth with sustainability under the fiercer global competition. But science and technology and innovation policy must shift from the discipline-oriented to the issue-driven. Scientists, engineers, and other researchers work in their own research field. That is a discipline. When you work in the framework of this discipline, sometimes you make a big wall in between the disciplines. Well, just imagine how to address the grand challenges. Is it possible to get to the solution for that grand challenges through the single discipline of the research? The grand challenges are too much complex. It's not easy to get to the solution by single discipline. We have to integrate all the knowledges in wide range of disciplines, and we have to think of how to make an approach to get a solution. That's why my proposal is to shift the approach of the research from discipline-oriented to issue-oriented. And an issue-driven innovation could create broader values by integrating knowledge across disciplines and sectors for addressing the grand challenges. So this is the scheme. How to work with the issue-driven innovation. I described so many grand challenges we face. How to address these grand challenges? Maybe you can pick up some issues to address these grand challenges. At the first step, you set the issue. And to get a solution for this issue, we have to forget the discipline. And we have to integrate all the knowledges to be effective to get a solution of a certain issue. This type of innovation should be the new model. And I propose this type of approach in other countries, and always discussing. Now, science and technology policy is just moving to this direction in the United States, in Europe, in other countries. So this is a issue-driven innovation. Now, we have the science and technology basic plan for every 5 years. And this is the final year of the third basic plan that was ended at the last day of March. And we already finished to make up the framework of this fourth basic plan. At that time, that great earthquake happened. So Prime Minister Khan had no time to think of this, basic plan. All other, this type of policies were just suspended. So I will describe what happened with this basic plan. The third basic plan started in 2007, and characteristics was the prioritization in 8 major disciplines. That is life science, IT, environment, nanotech and materials, energy, manufacturing, social infrastructure, and frontier. So this is a discipline-oriented type of research. So many researchers' works depend on this specified research areas, and they made a big progress. We are proud of results. But when we pick up some social issue, is it effective to get a solution? Maybe we can get a part of solution can be effective by these results, but it's not so effective. So we have to shift from this type of discipline-oriented R&D to the issue-driven R&D and innovation. But don't forget, the basic research is still important. Basic research is a fundamental base for pushing up this type of issue-driven innovation. So we should build up at least 2 pillars. One is issue-driven innovation and the basic research. We should promote these 2 pillars in parallel. And in the 4th basic plan, science and technology and innovation should be integratedly, promoted. This is the first policy in Japan to promote in an official manner innovation. Last year, December 24th, CSDP issued the policy paper for their science and technology basic plan. This policy paper showed exact forms of the basic plan. In the official, procedures, this policy paper is made up for the fourth basic plan, and that should have been approved by the cabinet until the end of March. So it couldn't make it. That's why we finally announced the last day of March, we reconsider the framework of the fourth basic plan. Now, it happened without basic plan. We still promoting the science and technology. Unusual case. And on May the 2nd, we issued the policy paper. I don't know who looked at this policy paper. If you didn't look at this policy paper, please look at. This is a very important policy paper for addressing the supplemental budget and the next fiscal year's budget. And at the first step, we just indicated many important issues after 3/11. From now on, I should describe what is contained in the policy paper for the fourth Science and Technology Basic Plan that was issued in the last year. And we asked the public to get an opinion, so that you must know the content. But I just ran through the main points. At the basic concept, the basic plan is a 5-year plan with a foresight of 10 years ahead. And it is tightly linked with the new growth strategy. And we should promote the comprehensive manner, science and technology and innovation. And we just describe what the image of our nation. We put the 5 images of the nation. But these 5 images of the nation should be a little bit modified according to the great earthquake. In this chapter 2, two innovations as a key of national strategy. One is green innovation and life innovation. And I'll tell you a little bit detail about the green innovation later. We have so many other grand challenges. Here we have the 5. High quality of life. This is a very important issue. And second, industrial competitiveness. How to enhance this competitiveness. And addressing the global challenges, well, global issues. This is also very important. And secure the nation's bases. And we'll have to reinforce the common basis for R&D. So these are important issues Japan faces. So issue-driven R&D and innovation should be promoted depending on this type of the issues. In chapter 4, we set priorities on the basic research and fostering human capacities. So this must concern with the universities. And enhancing the basic research, we will set 2 categories of basic research. One type of basic research should be diverse in different disciplines. This type of basic research should be supported by the operational grants to the national universities and the private universities budgeting support. This is not so definitely purpose-oriented. It's quite different from the issue-driven. But we have to be very creative in any discipline. The other important basic research is the world top level of research. WPI was established for this type of purpose. We set 6 WPIs, and your I²CNER? I²CNER is a 6 WPI, and you should be proud of it. And surely you have to, respond to this expectation, to provide the progress and accomplishment to the world. So this type of basic research should be world top. So these are 2 categories of basic research. And fostering human resources, top priority is the graduate school education system should be reformed. the graduate schools should make a much more, reform to foster the global leaders in other areas. Now, many people just complain Japanese young generation are just confined within the country. But this is the age of globalization. Even if we live in Japan, we should make a link through the global system and wish to lead the countries. So, to encourage this type of human resources, graduate school should make a big work in fostering this type of human resources. In the last chapter, we just set a priority to make a communication in science and technology between society and the science and technology sectors. That includes the government also. So you found the term of green innovation in the fourth basic plan. And I will just describe what is contained in the green innovation in the basic plan. I described the framework, but that should be modified or reconsidered until August. Now we are just in the process. But the main frame should be kept at the time of it. So in the framework of the fourth basic plan, we set two types of innovations as issue-driven type. In a green innovation, the grand challenge is the climate change. But our basic idea is transform the climate change to opportunities for growth. For this purpose, our strong point of environmental and energy engineering should be effective. But we should work for issue-driven type of innovation. Don't stick within small areas of research. That is very important. But just look at how to solve the problems or how to get solution for the issue. We need a collaboration with other people. And when we are working for the purpose of innovation, innovation is not the purpose. Through innovation, we have to solve the problems. And innovation policy, we have to work for the R&D and systems reform. I just discussed with Professor Murakami before coming here. He indicated that some regulation is not so effective to promote innovation. So that type of deregulation is very important. So we have to work with the system reform and R&D or innovation promotion. That's why in addition to R&D, we set a priority on the system reform for innovation. One is the establish strategic innovation systems. We're just proposing an innovation strategy platform. At this platform, we get together to work with the many sectors. And industry, university, government network, and open innovation center. Already, Tsukuba Innovation Area, tier, was established in Tsukuba, and many sectors get together to work with that place. And reinforce innovation systems. For instance, a supporting system for startup. And I just put the word affirmative legal framework for new market. It's a regulation, but to encourage the researchers and also the users. That is a affirmative legal framework. It's a new term. And a regional innovation system. And it's very important to promote the strategy for IP, intellectual property, and international standard. So, if you look at the green innovation, you can recognize what the grand challenge and what are the issues. So that is started up with the climate change. When we have to address the global challenges of climate change, we have two measures. One is mitigation to reduce GHG directly. The other one is adaptation. But it's very important. We have to work with both of them. That means the integration of two measures in a system. That the green innovation started last year. For promoting this green innovation, the target is low carbon society with sustainability. For promoting low carbon society with sustainability, international agreement and cooperation inevitable. And we have to open the eyes to other countries, especially in the developing countries. We have to give a hand to support the developing countries. If we can successfully could promote green innovation, that create new job, new industry and businesses. So last year, we frameworked this type of the green innovation strategy. One is a green energy supply, ensuring efficient and smart energy use, and greening social infrastructure, and some other, system reform is written underneath. It's very small letters. It's not easy to recognize. Last year, CSTP started a new budget proposal system. Many ministries, for instance, MEXT, MIDI, and some other ministries, make a budget proposal at the end of August. But before the budget proposal, CSTP asked each ministry to make a big concept to make a science and technical policy. And the CSTP make a big idea, and they make a discussion, and we make a final goal. And then, depending on that goal, they make a budget proposal. We set two big issues. One is green innovation and life innovation for last year's fiscal year. And at the left side, right side, you can find the term of the policy packaging. And you find the very familiar word in that policy packaging. Extremely high performance and low cost of photovoltaic generation. It's a solar energy system. But target is extremely high performance and low cost. Many ministries have this type of projects, but we just discussed with these ministries what the purpose and what the target of these projects. Sometimes we found the overlapping policies or measures, and huge discussion made, and finally we define each ministry's role and set a target, and now it started. So these are last year's policy packaging. And this time, the great earthquake happened. And we've gotten so much impact from the great earthquake, especially in the energy issues in the green innovation. So, two things. One is the green innovation is enforced to address the issues of not only climate change, but natural disasters of earthquake and tsunami. Our community, towns, cities should be resilient or vulnerable to this type of disasters of earthquake and tsunami. But we should live together with nature. So that is a very difficult issue. The other issue is nuclear power plant accident. And we've got big issues of energy security. We get a loss at the earthquake, especially in the Tokyo area. It's a little bit far from the earthquake, but it's a completely, confused and damaged in energy saving, energy supply. So the strategy of green innovation must be extensively strengthened to meet these issues. That's why we're just reviewing the basic policy paper issued in last December. And this is just a tentative and the suggested issues of green innovation is we should work with the energy shift to renewable energy for securing energy supply. This is not so easy, but we have to do. Before the great earthquake, we had a midterm goal in 2020. 10% of primary energy supply should be replaced by the regenerative energy. That target was very high, but we have to, increase the percentage of that 2020 target. So we are thinking how to do it. The second one is innovation for decentralized energy systems with integrated power supply and use. It's not only the decentralization of the power supply. It should be integrated with the user side. In Japan, whole electric supply system is centralized at 7 sectors. But this type of centralized energy supply system has weak and not so workable in this crisis. Of course, we have to secure the mainstream of centralized energy supply system, but also in parallel, we have to strengthen decentralized energy supply and use system. Grid system, smart grid system is powerful to realize this type of decentralization. The third item should be innovation for highly efficient and smart energy use. We're very strong in this type of technology, in efficiency and smartness, but we have to push more. And lastly, the innovation for greener social infrastructure coexisting with nature. So this is just the temporal, issues, we have to discuss with these lines. But please, you yourself think of what the critical situation in Japan just concerning with the energy issue that come from the great earthquake. So this is one of the part of the revision of the fourth science and technology basic plan, we want to get this type of the framework until the August. So I spent all of the time of my speech. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
I also would like to ask you, you show that the next plans of fourth science and technologies research plan in your presentations. And I'd like to just ask you, is there any big changes caused by this earthquake in this future plan? Because this future plan is determined at the end of last year. So I would like to ask you, is there any modification in the research plan?
Yes. So that's why I described, for instance, in the green innovation, we have to address the grand challenge of the great earthquake. So that's why I just mentioned for energy issue, for instance, 4 issues.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, it's a big influence. We have to think of it, and we build in these responses in several spots in fourth basic plan.
I think the big difference is on the reliability of the electric source. We made a big accident on power generators, and therefore, according to the introduction, usually fuel cell or something such kind of energy technology, which is very good for us because we have the more interest on the carbon neutral energy resource. And the fact that at the moment, as you may know, the budget for the such kind of fuel cell energy related issues is a little bit decreased in Japan in the last year. So what do you think in the future? Is this a recovery again?
Well, I want to ask you to think of a much more broader viewpoint. That is my message today. Each researcher just, stick on their own research discipline. Temporary. Forget the discipline. Now, the great earthquake impacted us to secure the energy supply system. That is not so safe. So that's why the nuclear power should be declined at this moment. Let's find how to replace the nuclear power's generation. Maybe regenerative energy, or I just put the decentralized energy systems. But we have to think of how to get a total, request in energy supply. So with that broader viewpoint, the researchers should work for how to make a new direction of Japan.
Okay.
So if you can suggest such a new strategy, Of course, you can include the fuel cell or batteries, but it looks so effective. Maybe budget can follow you, correct? But the idea or strategy is very important.
I also ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
This was this I²CNER is also targeted to encourage the young generation. And as you may know, not so many Japanese now to study abroad. What do you think? How to accelerate to encourage them to study abroad and get more the encourage what excellent and return? What do you think about this policies?
That's a good question, but that question should be addressed to your students. But I just wondering how young generation stick within the country. Now, I always recognize the brain circulation around the globe. Students, get into some universities and then graduate from that university and then spread out other countries and then get a job different country. So there is a brain circulation. World leading universities accept best students from the world and foster these students at the top level and go away in other countries. But university and that graduate had a strong connection, link. Even if they work in other countries, they feel this is my mother of graduation. So that's the strategy of the world leading universities. So Japan, if you look at the Japan, national university were built up for Japan and Japanese people. So the professors want to get a good student from Japan, and if they are good student, the professor want to keep them at their laboratory, especially in the science and technology. And now, young generation can't find the difference from Japan and other countries because, especially in the Kyushu University, you are living in very good circumstances. So you must wonder, why should we go out to learn something? So that is one of the reasons. But if you go out abroad and you can work with foreign people, it's very, very competitive. And I just wondered, you are so much energetic to compete or to work competitive with this type of aggressive people. One of the reasons is the language. Maybe I found many foreigners, coming here. Maybe you have similar problems, the barrier of the languages, but you find something good thing, in Japan. So that's why you came here. So I don't discuss the reasons, but just try to go out, even in a short time. Then you can feel very competitive atmosphere in any places, in good universities or some other places. And then after that, they get count. Now, I want to alarm many companies trying to recruit good students other than Japan. Now, until now, the many Japanese companies try to get the good students from Japanese universities. But now the situation is different. Anyway, don't forget the words of globalization.
The time is over, so we would like to thank Professor AIZAWA for a very nice talk. And also, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.